Hello and welcome to Learn Data. It's great to have you on this channel. I'm Nilesh, and in this video we are going to continue to learn about time in Pandas. In previous videos we looked at time zones. Now we are going to shift a little bit into a different topic and look at time delta. Well, in this video we'll look at how to create time delta using strings, integers, keyword arguments, ISO 8601 string, offsets and array of strings. We'll also look at how to create time delta from datetime.timedelta as well as the numpy np.timedelta64. Then we'll look at how to handle not a time objects in time delta and how we can use time delta within a series or a data frame. So let's get into Jupyter notebook and start coding. Here I've already created a new notebook and imported these 5 libraries, and these are the versions for all those libraries. Now let's first go ahead and create a time delta object. So time delta, and we'll start with using strings. So the simplest way would be type pd.timedelta and open parentheses, and within quotes you want to type 1 days, and that's the time delta value. The next we can type pd.timedelta and again 1 days, and we could add hours to it. So let's say 10 hours, and that's the 10 hours. Again we can use a negative value as well. So time delta, and here instead of 1 we could use -1 days, and thus we have time delta now that is negative. We could add minutes to it. So time delta, and within quotes inside parentheses we can type -1 days and let's say 2 minutes, and that's how we have the value for time delta. Now you can notice here that this time is 2 minutes subtracted from 24 hours, and instead of -1 we now have -2 because we have a negative sign there. Here if we had a positive sign, then it would be just 1 days and 2 minutes. Now let's look at how we can create time delta using keyword arguments. And for this we'll use the days and minutes first. So let's know that pd.timedelta days is equal to 1, and then we have minutes is equal to 2, and thus we have created the time delta. Next, let's see how we can use integers here. So we have using integers, and we can type pd.timedelta, and here if we use 1 then you can specify the unit as say day, and that's the time delta we have. Now let's look at how we can convert from date time time delta to pd time delta. So date time to pd to time delta. So for that we would type pd dot time delta, and within parentheses datetime dot time delta, and then here within this we'll specify days is equal to 1, seconds is equal to 1, and thus we have 1 day and 1 seconds. Next, let's look at how we can use the np.time delta 64. Again the method is same, pd.time delta, then we have within parentheses np.time delta 64, and within this we have 1 and then seconds. So thus we have time delta of 1 second. 0 days, and because we had the units of seconds we have 1 second there. Now how about using negative strings? We have already seen one example above, so it would be similar. pd.timedelta, and here we can specify minus 1 minute, and thus we have the negative time delta created here. Now to handle not a time objects, so that's the NAT, or we would type npd.timedelta, and if you type within quotes NaN, that creates an auto time object, as well as if you type NAT. So if you have NAT, then that would also create a auto time object. Next, let's look at how we can create the ISO 8601. We can use this string to create a time delta object. So the format for this is usually P, then N, and then you have Y, N, Y, N. I'm going to copy these brackets. So Y, N, M, N, and then you have D, T, and again you have the N there. So Control V, and you have hours, N, and then you have the minutes, N, and you have the seconds. So this is, I got this from Wikipedia, so that's kind of general format. We'll use that now to create a time delta object. So pd.timedelta, and here we have in a string P 1 day, and then T, and we have 12 hours, and let's say 30 minutes and 10 seconds. So the time delta object that should be created now. So here we have 1 days, 12 hours, 30 minutes and 10 seconds. So those are a couple of ways in which we can create a time delta object. Now let's look at few more examples using offsets. So offsets, here if we type pd.timedelta, and within parentheses we'll use pd.offsets, and here if let's say if we use day, 2 days, and then plus we can add another parameter here. So let's use time delta, pd.timedelta, and this could be 1 days. Now the output then would be this 2 days from this offset value plus 1 day from this time delta value. So we get an output of 3 days in the right here. Next, let's look at how we can use array of strings to create time delta value. So pd dot, here we are going to use 2 underscore time delta. So time delta, and here we can specify a string, list of strings. So this would be 1 day is 10 minutes. It could be the first one, then the second one could be say 3 minutes, and when we run this we have our time delta index which has 2 values, so 1 days, and then we have the 3 minutes right here. Similarly, we could use hours. So if we copy this, paste it here, so instead of this, let's say if we keep it as 1 day 1 hour, and the same stays there, 3 minutes, so we get 1 day 1 hour, and then we have those 3 minutes. Next, let's look at the limitations of time delta. So time delta limitations. So what is the minimum and maximum values that we can have? So for the minimum, we can check it by typing pd.timedelta.min, and we have pd.timedelta object is not callable. See, okay, so the minimum value is minus 106,752 days, and these many days, And if we look at the timestamp for this, so let's say pd dot timestamp, and here if we copy this or just type -106752, and the unit for this would be days. So Python integer is too large to convert, so let's change this to 1. It's okay. So here, as you can see, this dates back to the year 1677, and that's how far back you could go in time. And now let's look at the max, pd.timedelta.max, and this is plus 10675. And here if we copy this and look at the year, this is 2262. So those are kind of the ranges for time delta when you're working with it. Now let's see how we can use the time delta values along with a series. So with the series, and we'll go ahead and create a series first. So a is equal to pd dot series, and here we'll create a date range, pd dot date underscore range, and this would be without using the time delta. So 2020 08 say 14, and then we have the periods is equal to 3, frequency is equal to days, and that's the series we have. Now we can use create a series using the time delta. So b is equal to pd dot series, and here in parenthesis we'll use a for loop to create that. So pd dot time delta I for I in range, and just have 3 values because we have 3 values above. And if we look at b, this is the series we have created, where the time delta is right here, which is all seconds. Here if we specify, so we could go ahead and specify unit is equal to seconds, and now we have this. So that one was probably nanoseconds right here. So we can now use this series to create a data frame. So let's do that. Data frame, here df is equal to pd dot data frame, and within here we can create a column a which takes the value from the series A, column b which takes the values from the series B. And now if we go ahead and print df, this is what we have the dates here, and we have the time delta in the column B. Now how about creating another column C? So let's create df of C, which is a addition of the information or the date in A to the time delta that we have in the column B. So to do that, we would type df of A and then plus df, and we have B column here, B, and when we run this and look at df, we see that we have a new value in column C, which is addition of columns A and column B. So we have the date plus we have the nanoseconds added to the dates that we have in column A. If we look at the type, so df dot d types, we see that the for column A and column C are date time 64, whereas the column B is time delta 64. Now we could also look at how we can subtract. So let's go ahead and create columns, rows there. Here now if we try to subtract, we have the series A. Now we can subtract maximum value, let's say, from the series. So how do we do that? We would type, now here a dot max will give us a maximum value, and in this case it is 16th of August. So if we subtract that day from the entire series, a minus a dot max, here in the output, then what we get is a time delta 64 value. and we get 2 days, minus 2 days, minus 1 day, and then 0 days. We could change this, so we could switch the way these are positioned. So we could say a max minus a, so that we get positive values in the output. That was it for this video. I hope in this video you learned how to create time delta values, and then how to convert time delta values to get those values from either time delta 64 or using the numpy time delta 64. Next, we also looked at how to convert ISO 8601 strings to time delta, and finally we looked at how we can use time delta values within a series and a data frame and perform basic addition and subtraction. In next video we'll look at couple more operations with time delta. Please like, share and subscribe. Hope to see you all in the next video. Thank you.